What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an all-new Let's Play of Hearts of Iron 4, where we are continuing our grand campaign. And onward to the 29th of November, 1944, we are pushing closer to Vienna and Prague and eventually Berlin. We have 658 political power, but sadly, I believe the USSR is getting incredibly powerful. I am looking for a lot of our tanks, and it looks like all of the tanks that we had in Paris are slowly but surely going to go through. I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm guessing they're going to go straight to Alexandria, so let's go ahead and do this. But if we lose the port, we could certainly lose everything, and all I really want to do is ensure that we always have access to the Suez Canal. And I'm eventually going to go ahead and re-bolster these troops. I want to go ahead and get about 24 in total, and the idea is obviously to push on to the north, liberate Turkey, and we might just go ahead and hold Turkey, because I don't really want to go ahead and overextend. Obviously, this is a puppet. Iran is a puppet of the USSR, and so is Afghanistan. Okay, let's look around the map. We are going to go ahead and unpause the game. We have quite an abundance of experience, and that is pretty much it. I feel like I could go ahead, find all of our air, and let's grab both of these fighter wings, and I want to send them on over to, I'm guessing, Munich, because that seems like the biggest airfield we have, and then into eastern Germany. Alright, all of you are going to go here. I'm hoping that we have enough. Yeah, unfortunately, our close air support don't necessarily have the most range. But if they do get shot down, we could easily go ahead and build better ones, better variants, which of course we haven't even researched, which makes me feel a little sad. Let's ensure that it is 50% cheaper. It's only going to take 13 days for some reason. I really have no idea why. Normally it would take about 50. Alright, now that we have air superiority, Germany is going to fall. We've got a lot of free military factories. Once again, we are still waiting for oil, still waiting for tungsten. I'm guessing what we can do is just use up a lot of the steel and just pump out a lot of equipment, a lot of support equipment. And what we'll do is actually something like this. So then we'll get infantry equipment and then support equipment. Okay, my tanks are still making their way over. I feel like I want to go ahead and make this into our green group. So our green tanks, assuming that they survive, they are going to be conquering the Suez, but it doesn't look like they are going to be faring all too well. So let's go ahead, create a brand new line. We're going to make a nice fallback line like this, if we can. Okay, all 8 of these divisions are going to swing on over, and like so. They should probably go through the port of Tobruk, which is obviously Italian Libya that we have conquered. Moving on closer to Prague, moving closer, synthetic refinery, and then into Berlin. And, yeah, I'm incredibly happy to see such success. And, of course, we are still building up our economy. We're getting a lot of additional oil refineries, so then we can obviously reduce our dependence on foreign oil, which I keep saying over and over again, but for some reason we always seem to be lacking oil. But that will all change as soon as we go ahead and unlock the modern tank, because then it will require less oil, which is what I've been looking forward to. Alexandria does still exist. We are waiting on all of our tanks. We are building roughly 8 more. And I would like to make this an infinite amount. And at 20%, I'll go ahead and deploy those units. But I do believe that Berlin will fall any day now. And in fact, we're moving on forward with a lot of really broken infrastructure. Let's go ahead and keep moving, if possible. And Berlin! I love how, here we go. Is this the moment? Yes, it is.
Attention.
Berlin is now mine. I believe we do need to take Prague and then Vienna. We have a lot of free military factories. In about 4 hours, we're going to get a newspaper article. I don't really want to use any more oil to get more fighters, because we don't necessarily need those. My number one priority is probably just tanks. So we'll probably do this. Seeing as I don't have tungsten and I don't have any oil, this could be a bit of a problem. Okay, how long until our modern tanks? 20 days. The fall of Berlin. French forces have successfully stormed the German capital, which fell after a series of pitched battles within the city limits. A large group of Waffen SS soldiers barricaded themselves in the Olympus Bastion, which eventually fell after a determined attack by foreign legionnaires supported by artillery. The French tricolor can now be seen flying over the Reich Chancellery, and although sporadic fighting is still being reported from some suburbs, most of Berlin is believed to have been cleared of organized resistance. Viva la France! Oh, that is awesome. Let's go ahead and take a glance. The German Reich is about to capitulate. They have already lost about 8 million troops, and I believe all we need to do now is push into Vienna and push into Prague. Here is Prague. Prague is now mine. Vienna is now mine. The German Reich is 94% towards capitulation. Do we see any other major city-states? 1 victory point in Stettin. I don't know, to be quite honest. 1 victory point here. Is it Warsaw? I don't think that would be it, because this is technically Polish territory. But 10 victory points all the way up here. Do we have any troops at all? Not really. Let's go ahead and make our way to Stettin. Clear our way over wherever we can. And I'm hoping we don't lose Berlin, which we very well could.
Retraite.
Okay. All of our mountaineers are still where they need to be. That is not my tank. I guess we could move into Bratislava. And moving into Slovakia. I am incredibly happy with the amount of war score and participation we've been earning. And still moving into Stettin. In fact, it'd be amazing if we could cut off all of these troops, seeing as they don't really have any ports except this one, Kiel. Okay, we're going to be moving on against the coastline here. And the idea, of course, is to basically whittle away as many of their resources as possible. Okay, a lot of sporadic fighting. Well, Stettin is ours. And moving on up into Kiel to the best of our ability, but in fact, I believe we should probably sit back and relax for a few moments. I have all of our tanks finally arrived. It looks like they have. Let's go ahead and create our very first front line, and we're going to drag them on over. And we're going to create an offensive line all the way up into Alexandria. Let's go ahead and activate. We're still waiting on our tanks. Did they ever get to 20%? We are getting closer and closer. And I just want to make sure that we actually have enough mechanized. We probably do, and it looks like we have enough medium tanks as well. But Berlin is just about done for. We are conquering more and more every single day, and I believe once Kiel falls, there is no longer going to be a German Reich. And then all of our forces are going to be moving on into Slovakia and then Hungary. For the time being, we are obviously still trying to grow our economy to the best of our ability. Seeing as we have a lot of civilian factories, we might as well put them to good use and at least repair France. Alright, Kiel is done for. And there they all go. They are trying to retreat into the, the Baltic Sea, but I believe they are going to get hunted down. Alright, is this the end? I believe they have 100% towards capitulation. There they go. And our modern tank being unlocked as well. We've taken quite a bit. I believe these are light tanks. These are artillery and quite a bit of infantry equipment. France has 48% war score, or at least percentage to our war goal. Edward Daladier has announced that the cowardly German nation could no longer withstand the pressure from the overwhelming presence of French forces throughout the country. The German government chose to flee the country and has gone into exile. Their main forces have capitulated, and France is now in control of their home area. Through the war against what remains of the Axis, though the war of what remains of the Axis continues elsewhere, this is a great victory for all of the Allies. Well, I guess our next priority is to once again throw all of our divisions on down. I want to remove Hungary. It looks like Poland now exists once again. And this is going to sound bad, but we have 453 factories. And sadly enough, the Soviet Union is still more powerful than I am. But we're forgetting all of our wonderful allies. Not only do we have Belgium, but we have the Netherlands, we have Denmark, we will have Sweden, assuming that they can reconquer themselves, and I believe they can. Slovakia has capitulated, and all of our forces still moving on into Hungary. Let's go ahead and do something. I don't really want to go into the mountains. So we're going to do something just on the edge of the mountains here. And go ahead and activate. How are my troops down inside northern Egypt? They're doing quite well. In fact, they're gaining a lot of experience. And I'm curious enough if if the Soviet Union has any type of anti-tank capabilities, which I don't see. Do we have 20%? Not yet. But we're getting closer and closer. And like I said, our number one priority is to go ahead and secure the Suez. We should probably do that right now if we can. Try to just rush on past all of these units. We don't necessarily even need Cairo. All we need to do is secure the Suez. And then we can go ahead and obviously control most of our naval units. Now, do we want any additional radar stations? I mean, now that we own Germany, it might be a good idea. But at the same time, I also still want to focus on improving our economy. Alright, pushing on through. Cairo might be ours. We have the fall of Warsaw once again. So the Soviet Union is pushing. But at the same time, we are pushing against Hungary. They will fall in time. And oh, you know what? I wonder if we're going to have to defeat Japan. I'm hoping that the United States can take care of them. Now that they own Iwo Jima, and they own, what island is this? Marcus Island. So I'm hoping that the invasion of Japan will go smoothly. We no longer really need to be worrying about land doctrines. It's 1945, so that means we are finally going to go ahead and get Field Hospital rank 5 to get a little bit additional of experience. Let's go ahead and get recon companies for better reconnaissance. And then we will go ahead and grab engineering companies. Alright, we are moving towards Hungary. I am a little curious of who's exactly left. I hope I don't have to destroy all of the Asian forces, because that would be very bad. Do we need to go ahead and also hire some additional units for military police presence? I believe we do. In fact, we're probably going to need a tremendous amount. but the German Reich's factories will be mine. And we now need 39. I have 26. So let's go ahead and deploy another 6 units. We'll have another 6 show on up in time. Okay.
Attention.
My units down in Egypt are about to cross the Suez. And once we do that, we should basically be able to starve out all the other units. Greater Hungary has capitulated as we expected. Now we need to take out Romania, Bulgaria, and Yugoslavia. I believe Yugoslavia will be very soon. Alright, once again, we have more military factories. Oh, you know what? We researched the medium tank, but we're not producing it. Excuse me, the modern tank. But let's go ahead and start making this as much armor as possible. More reliability. I want more engine speed. And we don't have enough. Okay, so we've gained a ton of armor, a little bit of reliability, but we've lost some speed, but that's absolutely fine. And we are now going to go ahead and remove the very first modern tank. And now going ahead and producing nothing but modern tanks. Now, don't forget, these are... we're out of chromium already. We are going to be producing modern tanks, but they cost double the price of a medium tank. So when I say double the price, it means they cost, it takes twice as long to produce one. And just like that, we owe 258 chromium. We no longer need to be importing all of this tungsten. And where do I find the chromium? I want as much as I can get from the United Kingdom, and it looks like I can get quite a bit from South Africa as well. Still need 54. Still need 22. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have a lot of extra oil. Of course, we no longer need to be importing that, which is really good news. Our economy is going to absolutely skyrocket, which I have been looking forward to. Still have too much tungsten. Okay, let's go ahead, drop about 40 oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guarantee you very soon we're probably going to end up buying something else that requires oil, which I don't know what we're going to be getting just yet. We have a lot of extra military factories, so I'm guessing what we can do is get more mechanized. And I realize they require oil, but we're also going to be grabbing some synthetic refineries.
Gardez vos rangs.
Okay, how are we going against Yugoslavia? All of you need to be pushing on into Belgrade, and I believe once this falls, Yugoslavia is done for. At least I hope so. The war is practically over. All that's left is to deal with Bulgaria and Romania. Belgrade is mine. Yugoslavia has capitulated. So now we are going to be pushing on over into Romania. And I'm going to do... I don't really want to go through the mountains, but we might have to. And we're going to do something like this. And going ahead and putting on strategic redeployment. I wonder how many medium tanks we are lacking. 3.8 thousand, but what would happen if I deploy these and put one left? Okay, how many am I missing? That's my question. I have 674, which actually makes me terrified. That's what we're going to do. We're going to leave all of those that we can. All 8 of these new units that we have somehow produced. They're going to head on down to Egypt. And like I said, all we need to do is secure the Suez, and we are good to go. Can we throw on additional units of mechanized? I believe we can. There should be enough. 1.7 thousand is what we're missing, and that's absolutely fine. Sadly enough, our medium tanks, we only have about 500 left. And if we could take the Suez, everything would be going much more smoothly.
Attention.
Alright, all of our medium tanks appear to be in the right area, at least for the most part. Let's go ahead and activate. And still building up a lot of synthetic refineries. We were missing about 18 oil. Now we have a surplus of oil. And we're also still building more and more mechanized. I wonder how many we're building a day. About 19. So we are roughly 87 days behind schedule. But I could pretty much guarantee you these medium tanks are not going to last. And I wonder if I should also go ahead and, grab another unit of modern tanks. Because we are definitely going to be needing those. I'll throw those on up. We are going to be needing chromium, and that is absolutely fine. I believe we are going to be needing 4 times 15, 60 chromium. Oh my goodness. Well, let's go ahead and grab 1, 2, 3. So we've grabbed about 24 additional chromium. Whatever oil comes on out will be most likely thrown into these modern tanks. Alright, moving on into Romania. Very slowly, I might add. Our units down in Africa are gaining experience. We have conquered the Suez. All that's left is to conquer Cairo now. Guess we're attacking from 3 different angles, but the sad part is we're attacking across the river, which does make me nervous. But they don't have a port, so I feel like they're going to do nothing but lose units. Legionary Romania has capitulated, which I am incredibly happy about. All that is primarily left is Bulgaria, at least in Asia. And I'm wondering if I should create a front line in southern Russia, or if I should create a front line in Turkey. I'm probably going to go ahead and create the front line in southern Russia. So that means we could try to retake Crimea, retake the Ukraine, and own the Black Sea. I hope this will work. Let's also take a look at how much manpower the Soviet Unions have. Roughly 7 million, and they are currently on service by requirement, just like we are. And let's look at our air map mode. I will probably go ahead and make up an absolutely massive airfield inside Moldova. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have about 1,200 planes, if I can count correctly. And it should be built fairly quickly. You know what? If we lose this, this could be bad. Part of me wants to go after Bulgaria. In fact, let's just do it now. If they capitulate, we are good to go. Can you go to Plovdiv? I hope this is capitulation. There they go. Okay, new priority. All 24 of these tanks are going to create an incredibly small front line. And all of you will be thrown on in. And so the idea is let's throw in about 400 interwar fighters. And the idea is obviously they'll upgrade to the much better ones that we have. You're going to go into the Ukraine. And Greece should eventually reconquer itself. Hopefully, maybe, kind of. And hopefully Yugoslavia can obviously continue to grow as well. Okay, we are lacking chromium. We are actually lacking quite a bit of chromium. Let's go ahead. Nope, looks like we actually have a multiple of 8. Nope, we did not. I also want to get some from the Republic of Turkey. And we have a surplus of chromium. We have a surplus of oil as well. I think I'm going to continue trading for a little bit of excess. That does not make sense at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have a little bit of excess. All of our medium tanks are arriving. We are now doing an incredible job. We've taken Cairo. We are continuing our push. I would like to take this area while you move here. All of these units don't have supply. We have free military factories again. I have really no idea what to buy. Probably modern tanks, because we're going to need a lot of those. And we need more chromium, which we will grab from Turkey. And I feel like ensuring that Turkey does not fall might be another massive priority. How are all of my tanks doing? They've all arrived to where they need to go, for the most part. I want to also grab an incredibly broad front line. And so the idea is we are just going to try to liberate the Ukraine and keep pushing. We are finally moving out of winter. I really don't want to lose Turkey. I hope that does not happen.
Pareil.
All of you are being pushed in. It says we have 8 divisions here, but I just don't believe it. Oh, you know why? Because they're all they're all making their way over. Took me a while to figure that out. No longer gaining the effect of the Comintern influence. And how long are we going to wait for our final 8 tanks? It looks like a while, and I'm absolutely fine with that. We are doing incredibly well, pushing on almost every front line. It looks like we're winning on a lot of fronts as well. If we had more artillery, or excuse me, anti-tank capabilities, I would be happy. Are we losing medium tanks? Yes, we now have -16, which is really awful. And it's only going to go the wrong way. So I'm wondering... Yeah, we're not producing any more. This is bad. This is really bad. What if I did this? What if I switched out one of these tanks for a medium tank? Whoops, for a modern tank. And saved it. How much excess do we have? And obviously everybody no longer has an excess of medium tanks. We have 2.2 thousand. I think we're going to be fine. I hope we don't take any penalty. Oh, you know what? It says right here that we've already gone ahead and initiated our plans, but did we have planning preparation? That's the real question. Okay, last but not least, let's remove these Soviet troops. I want these units to go here. You're going to go here. Everybody is base... we only have 1 infrastructure, which is why this is taking so long. 3 are going to go here, 2 are going to go there, 3 are going to go there. And we should be able to push through. I guess that's the most important factor, but it looks like we're having a bit of trouble. Okay, how is my airfield? Does it still exist? Yes, it does, but barely. I want to go ahead and take this area very badly. Okay, most of Bessarabia is on the horizon. The Republic of Turkey has capitulated. I am very sad about that. Well, anyway, we are doing well, but I am going to have to end this episode after I go ahead and begin researching I don't know if I need rockets. You know what? Because it gets closer to jet engines, I think that's what we are going to go ahead and research. But thanks for joining me, everybody. Hope you all have an awesome day. Have a good one, guys.